What's up, XRP family? Thank you guys for joining the video for today. We have some interesting stuff going on here. We have King Valak saying, oh my god, they mentioned XRP and XLM as global stablecoins on the World Bank website, but yet XLM is not a body member of ISO 222. How much more clear does it need to be for the TARs to comprehend it? Oh yeah, that's right, they can't. Now, there's a lot of misconceptions, guys, about whether XRP can become a stablecoin. Well, first of all, the World Bank is not just gonna spit nonsense on a paper which they are publicly announcing. Like, people underestimate that these papers are some serious stuff, guys. Like, they are not going to put this on a website. This is the World Bank. This is a large institution, guys. Okay? So first of all, if they put this stablecoins for cross-border payments. Now, what does a stablecoin mean? Here we can see, guys, that someone says XRP can't be a stablecoin. Now, we have to understand that stablecoins does not mean that it will be pegged to the dollar or any fiat currency. No, it can be pegged to anything that has a intrinsic value. So, for instance, just an example, it can be backed by gold, right? Where it will have a certain value because it's backed to the gold value. That would also mean that it will be a stablecoin because it's backed to something and it doesn't move, it doesn't fluctuate like it fluctuates now, right? Because think about this. Now, there is no reason actually to give XRP a certain value, because it doesn't need to be a stable coin necessarily for it to work, if that makes sense. Now, if you understand where I'm going at, XRP transfers fiat to fiat or from fiat to XRP in 3 seconds. So there is so much, there's almost no time for price to fluctuate, right? So there is no need, but they can decide, guys, to make it a stablecoin, as they are mentioning here. Now, you can't say that it can't be a stablecoin because they are telling you that they see it as a stablecoin, because they maybe want to peg it to something which will give it a fixed value. They do not want XRP to move as much as it moves now. Think about this. They do not want to move XRP like a normal cryptocurrency, right? They want some kind of certainty, and that is very likely that it will happen because that will make more sense for the whole world to start using it, right? So just think about that, guys. It's definitely possible. The most popular asset in Japan, I think people are really underestimating what is happening right now, because this is the future, guys. And I'm telling you, XRP emerges as most popular digital asset in Japan, outpacing Bitcoin. Now, this is slowly starting to happen right now. It's happening in Japan. It's going to happen in more places. Mark my words. This is just the start. Before people start seeing the real value, the real utility that XRP has, it will become more popular, right? It's like that hype train that still didn't start, but it will. Once people understand that it will be driven, that this market will be driven by value and by utility, they will start buying stuff that has utility. Does it make sense, guys? So now, until now, we just had speculation markets. People just buy something that goes up because of speculation. That is going away, guys. We're going to regulation, and regulation will give us another market. It will be moving because of value, because of utility. So it will be different. XRP mentioned for cross-border payments within SWIFT and ISO 222 through RippleNet blockchain API. ISO Standards Agency 222 becoming the first member with a focus on DLT with their RippleNet and the use of blockchain technology and APIs. They offer a faster and more economical cross-border payment system through their XRP token, solving common problems of the traditional regime in terms of speed, liquidity management, right? So you can clearly see, guys, that things are starting to move. Things are really starting to move right now. And here we can also see another page where they mention XRP and Ripple. Now this is a very interesting one. R3 states that it's time to make money more fluid for cross-border payments and remove the lumps. This is pure gold. Let's take a look.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm conscious. I'm looking at the stream here, and there are loads of questions coming in. So I'm going to ask you one last one from me, Ricardo, and then we're going to go to the stream's questions. So quick fire one. Over the next few years, what do you think like the top 3 sort of transformational use cases for blockchain will be?
Ooh, okay. Well, it'll have to be in capital markets, payments, and identity. So, let me just give you a quick view of what that means. So in capital markets, the continued digitization of all assets and asset classes, I think is really exciting. So, the digitization of property and cars and what have you, and then the ability to trade those things in primary, secondary, and even tertiary marketplaces. I think that's going to be cool. Money. So the movement of money moving from lumpy to liquid. So, today money is very lumpy, right? You get paid every month or every couple of weeks. Why don't you get paid every second?
Right.
And we move money cross-border, but we don't send emails cross-border. Of course, governance and legislation is different on money versus data, but still, I think that certainly we'll see a shift of money being more fluid. And then on identity, if we consider what's happening with Web3, the promise of bring your identity to the internet and the identity is yours, sovereign identity is something that I think we still need to solve. We've been talking about it for a very long time, but hopefully now is the time to get it right.
Very, very interesting, guys. He literally talks about 3 main things that will actually be very, very interesting in the future. That is why, guys, you cannot just look at XRP and say that XRP is the only one that is going to make it in this market. Don't do that, right? XRP is one of the best because it solves the payment issue, which is the biggest one. But don't neglect the rest of them, guys, because crypto has a lot of value. Like, the potential is huge right now. You are still early. As you can see, he's talking about digitization, which is slowly happening, right? High-level lawyers state SEC's win at all cost mentality is unconstitutional and that Ripple have changed the game forever. This is how they talk about how Ripple has changed stuff because of how the Hinman speech actually was their opinion or was actually a legal speech, and then they said it is their opinion. They can't do that in the future anymore. So Ripple has changed some certain stuff. Let's take a look.
That their token was a security. And the judge said, wrong. It's material. And so then they went and they said, well, the attorney's correspondence is privileged. And the judge said, not only can it not be privileged, because you've already gone to great pains to tell us that this was not an official speech. And the agency lawyers can't give privileged privileged advice to individuals for doing personal activities. But the judge really raked the SEC over the coals for what he deemed was too aggressive litigation tactics. Litigation tactics that, to your point, private attorneys would turn on a dime, right? Like they, yeah. But he said for the SEC, basically, these are my words, it's really unseemly for you to prize victory over legal ethics and taking a consistent position. And so not only is it super interesting that Ripple sort of, I think, is going to change the way that government officials make speeches in the future. And they sort of put paid to this idea that an official can make a speech in their personal capacity and then not be held accountable for it later. Like, that's amazing. Like, that changes everything in Washington. But the court raked the SEC over the coals for being, gently in a judicial way, for being, basically unethical and making two contradictory arguments with respect to, that evidence. So, normally boring discovery disputes, I think is going to create, some interesting SEC related changes, but potentially some interesting agency public official speech changes as well. So that's that. Anyway, that was a very long way around to say that's kind of what I was thinking is that this like.
And not only that, guys, but Ripple will also change the way the SEC looks at crypto in general. That is why this lawsuit is so important. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. See you in the next one. Cheers.